winner of the Daytona 500 is Ernie Irvan, the Morgan McClure Chevrolet.
Morgan McClure Chevrolet. Honk.
Hey.
Honk. What's up, Phil?
What's up, buddy?
Welcome, everybody. Clean Air Show, episode 67. Or whatever the kids say these days. Kansas Speedway on tap today.
Hopefully the Wicked Witch of the West doesn't show up.
Dude, nice thumbnail.
Appreciate it.
Was that from Chat GPT or Chat GTPs?
That was GTPs.
GTPs? Oh, man.
What do we got?
Going on, Phil? What's going on, buddy?
What lot happened in the last week.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had a barrel roll.
Do a barrel roll.
We got shit, my internet just shut off. Where'd you go?
Way to be prepared, Phil.
I was prepared, and then
Way
it
to
just
be
closed
prepared,
me
Phil.
out, dude. Closed me out.
Way to be prepared. Way to go, guy.
That happens.
Way to go. What were you
Tyrone Gibbs.
Tyrone Gibbs with the first win of his Cup Series career.
Did a good job too. Ran up front quite a bit and just had himself in the right place at the right time with strategy.
To be honest with you, I didn't think that was coming this year. I was a little shocked. But he played it right. He played his cards right. I pulled up our fun fact with AJ for today.
The one from the other day. It's a good one. What else do we have at Bristol? Not a whole damn lot.
No.
Alex Bowman.
I heard, or I was seeing reactions about, was this a good race? Was it not? God damn, that spring Bristol race just doesn't do it for me. And I don't think it would ever happen, but Bristol is one of those tracks that only needs one date. Just make the night race their one date, and that's it. But that city thrives off of all that revenue that comes in when NASCAR's there, so it's tough.
So did all the other places that we shut races down. Just saying.
Yeah. But we talked about this in a group text this week. Well, what tracks would you give a second date to that doesn't already have one? And I said, if Homestead wasn't the championship, it should have 2 races.
I agree.
Being that it does have the championship, it only needs one. But I look at a track like Phoenix, and I think that track only needs 1 race. We should only have to go to Phoenix once. I feel the same way about Martinsville. I think if we only went to Martinsville once, that would be okay. Because you think, Brendan brings up here, I'd go to Dover 2 dates. I wouldn't go to Dover 2 dates, but I'd at least give them their points race back by scrapping one of these other tracks that have 2 dates on the schedule. Especially if, there's talks. I listened to a couple different podcasts this week. Apparently there's talks about Mexico City coming back. Okay. I'd imagine that
it was all right.
I would imagine that San Diego is going to fall off the schedule next year. I think this is only a 1-year thing for that. So that probably fills in there.
Bring him to St. Pete.
You could bring him to St. Pete. Have a little 3-day show with IndyCar.
I'd watch.
You'd probably run IndyCar before the Cup race, right? IndyCar starts at noon. Puts that thing over around 3, let Cup cars on the track, because that's after the time change, right? So it gets darker later.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I agree. If Mexico wasn't in the rain, it would have been better. Yeah. But New Hampshire, I'm glad that only has 1 date. I'm glad Texas only has 1 date. we had a really good track out in California that we decided to tear down and put up an Amazon at. And then just forgot it even existed.
There's a lot of tracks I'd like to see, like talks of maybe. I'd like to see Nashville Fairgrounds.
I do too. I think they would need a big renovation first before that.
Oh, absolutely.
That could
But I
happen.
think that facility and like that track style would be a good match.
Right.
You know? Rockingham, don't think deserves a cup date. Don't think they need it. That would be a terrible race.
That service needs to age a little bit, but like you still have Kentucky out there, which I don't think these cars would put that great of a show on at Kentucky. I always thought Kentucky was lackluster anyway. But like that's a track that they could return to. You know, you always get that nostalgic bump when they go back to a track like that. I'm just gonna go through like a Reddit post from 4 years ago. They could do Portland. They could run Portland. They could run Road America again.
Here's my thought, though. I think we already have enough.
We have way too many road courses. I can agree with that. See, this post doesn't put up any like actual tracks, it just says cities. And I also wouldn't put it out of the question of possibly exploring building a racetrack. Build a couple. You know, make them modern, standard, up to date, you know.
Build me a track that's got the bank in Talladega, the straightaways of Martinsville, and the attitude of Bristol, I guess. I don't know. Bring me to Slinger Speedway. Slinger Speedway is basically what I just described.
But like, there's just so many tracks around, and well, I mean, truth be told, I wouldn't add any short tracks right now.
No,
not till they get this car figured out.
The short track stuff is not where we need it to be right now.
You know, I don't know when this was, Phil, but it popped up on my Facebook reels the other day. It was Corey LaJoy talking about the short track problem, and I thought he actually really nailed it. The tire itself is too wide. So what happened was Goodyear didn't want to have to sacrifice capacity of air inside the tire when they went to this single lug, bigger wheel setup. So to navigate that, they made the tire wider. And what happens is it just gives out way too much grip, which is why we're not seeing any tire fall off. If they made these tires a little bit more narrow, you'd have tire fall off and your speeds at short tracks would increase.
Yes.
So like that to me is like, oh, that sounds really simple.
Think of it in the short track world as like sportsmen's are on an 8-inch tire, supers are on a 10-inch tire.
Right.
That's basically the difference. But they're also on a 20-inch wheel, so it's, or 18-inch wheel. What the hell size wheels are those?
I think it's 18, right?
Yeah, but the tire's only this freaking tall,
Right. I think now we have the horsepower balance there. We have the aero setup. I think it's perfect because we saw comers and goers last Sunday.
Yeah.
Now let's start looking at the tire. If you haven't, door bumper cleared this week had on Steve O'Donnell. I think I said Steve Phelps. It was Steve O'Donnell, right? It was on
Steve O'Donnell.
Steve O'Donnell was on, and that's a good listen. It's a good listen to hear his perspective on things, and really, I thought it was NASCAR showing ownership as to why the product hasn't been as great. Like they owned it, which is why they're making a bunch of the changes that they've been making, this year, and the rumors we've started hearing for next year. I think we're on the right trajectory. But as far as short tracks go, now it's time to start looking at the tire a little bit.
I've had enough of you motherfuckers.
Well, Let's talk a little bit about Tyrone Gibbs' first win. I think that is huge for Joe Gibbs Racing. It didn't come from without any drama from the previous driver of the 54 that was then the 18. Kyle Busch sending Riley Herbst at the end of the race, bringing out that final yellow.
Kyle Busch is in a rough spot, dude.
Kyle Busch is in a very rough spot. I said I listened to some podcasts this week. Denny Hamlin action is detrimental. Started talking about the Kyle Busch situation, and I don't think Denny said anything out of line, anything that was wrong. I don't think he bashed Kyle Busch, and Kyle didn't have nice things to say yesterday when asked about it. And
No.
I think the longer Kyle runs at RCR, the more he is tarnishing his legacy. He's not running good. He hasn't run good in quite some time. I think it was after that first year at RCR, he hasn't done anything since. He needs a fresh start with a good team so he can become the Kyle Busch of old. When you have your spotter and your crew chief on a different radio channel saying things about you and it's being made public, it's not a good environment to be in. I don't think Kyle's crew chief is any slouch either. Just won the Xfinity title last year with Justin Allgaier, or 2 years ago with Justin Allgaier, and won a ton of races with him. So we know the crew chief's good and knows how to put together winning cars. I think Kyle struggles with this next-gen car. It doesn't suit his driving style whatsoever. So he's struggling. He needs to be...
But here's a question for you, though.
Mm-hmm.
Might have won the Xfinity Championship a couple years ago, but do you think he's going through a learning curve with this car possibly too, and that's part of the struggle?
Probably, but if, you know, HBO Max, you can watch the in-car stuff and listen to the radio chatter. It's almost like Kyle's just not detailing what the car's doing. It's can't turn here, doesn't do anything here, plows here. Okay, well, what do you want us to change? What do you want us to fix to help you? Don't just sit here and tell me, you know, what the car's not doing. Tell us what you want the car to do. I think there's a language barrier almost between the two.
I think there's a give a damn barrier.
I think that's another big thing. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying, you know, Kyle wouldn't be running if he didn't give a shit. But I think he's checked out.
Yeah, he's not having fun. You know, he's not where in his mind he should be, and it's got him.
You know where you see Kyle look like Kyle
in the truck series.
In the truck series, there's just an edge to him when he's in the truck series that is what he used to always have, no matter what he was racing.
Now, do you think that's a Spire and Kyle Busch relationship, crew chief and Kyle Busch relationship there, or do you think it's just like I said in the Cup Series, he's checked out?
I think it's a comfort thing. I think he's so anti, and I don't know. Kyle's always struck me with this attitude that if it's something he doesn't like, he just doesn't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like if it's
something
back
he to when Hendrick put Dale Jr. in the 5 car because Kyle packed his shit and walked away after a minor deal.
Right. Like Kyle's just always been that driver that if he's not feeling that like competitive edge, that drive to be the absolute best driver on that racetrack, it's like a mind game. Like you just can't do it.
And that pairing they put him with in the truck series with old Brian Patty, I mean, that's a deadly combination right there.
You and I have talked about this in private off air a bunch of times, that the truck series is virtually unchanged since the series freaking started. Like it's almost damn near same as what it was. You've had some chassis changes here and there, but realistically the cars or the truck itself is the exact same. Nothing's changed there.
It's just turned into a very, not as bad as the ARCA series, but Like you've got your top teams that are always up front. Then you've got your mid pack guys. Then you've got your in the back guys. I mean, you've got like 3 different groups, that are out there. And it just, back in the day, you didn't know who the hell was winning. There were 20 guys that could have won a freaking race in the early 2000s, late 90s,
Right.
The competition level, I'm not saying is any lower, because you've got these guys, you got Heim, you've got, Hemrick and Eckes and all those guys, Honeycutt. I mean, you've got a solid group of people running up front on a regular basis in there. And you've got the Cup guys who are filling in here and there. You've had Stenhouse, McDowell, Kyle, Hocevar. I mean, numerous guys. Chastain's been up front in a few. I mean, the competition level there is tighter, I believe, is the point I'm trying to get at. Right. You see better racing in that because of that. The O'Reilly series is no different. I mean, their racing
comes down to how you can adjust it.
Right. And I just don't think this Cup car is a good pack car. It's not good in a group. So the biggest thing you and I talk about it all the time. The biggest thing for them is clean air with this car. And if you're in dirty air, the car's just absolute horseshit, and once you get, dude, you're back in 20th. Imagine how bad that air is back there. If you're lined up nose to tail, you're a sitting duck. You can't move.
Right.
And I mean, I understand it. Like I get it, but it's a product of what this car has become racing wise. Like, and I'm not saying the racing's bad by any means. It's just once it gets spread out, it's spread out. I mean, you have a couple races going on here and there, but for the most part, everywhere you think about it, tracks bigger than Bristol, Martinsville, Richmond, stuff like that, where they have room. Most of the time, it's a drawn out field all the time.
Right. Yeah, I think RCR has, I mean, just an R&D problem. Obviously, I mean, you look at Austin Dillon, who's to me not running as bad as Kyle, but still just not where they need to be. But I also think they have a driver problem with Kyle, like a driver car problem.
Absolutely.
Just want to shift a little bit back to the Ty Gibbs stuff.
We got off track there a little bit.
Just talk about how big that win is for Joe Gibbs, because if you think about it now, all 4 Joe Gibbs cars have now won in the last 365 days. Huge for Ty. I think that's a great confidence booster. I said the same thing several years ago when Chase finally won his first race at Watkins Glen, and that now they'll just keep coming. It'll once you get that first one out of the way and the monkey off your back, like it seems like drivers find victory lane quicker than it took them to find it the first time.
I also think like we've seen a different Ty Gibbs this year. The drive is back, a
lot of confidence.
I think after his dad passed away, he went into a little slump for a little bit. And, now I think he's back and he's there. I mean, you think about the last few weeks, he's been top 5, top 10, pretty much every race.
Right. And it's big to now finally be a winning driver with the team that bears your name. I think that helps a ton.
And then he gets a win yesterday as a car owner too.
Right. Taylor Gray, Tanner Gray, one of the Grays.
Yeah, Taylor Gray, the only one that can win stuff. The other one, he's just there.
So like it's just vibes are up over there at Joe Gibbs Racing. At Toyota as a whole, I mean, Joe Gibbs has been great this year. 2311 naturally has been great this year. Minus, I guess, Riley Herbst has been the only downside to Toyota. However, I mean, he qualified well last weekend.
He's doing good. Kyle Busch dumped him.
He was doing all right till Kyle Busch decided he had enough. He had enough of you motherfuckers. But yeah, I think Toyota's in a really good spot right now. And we transition to today. 365 days ago when we were at Kansas is when Kyle Larson got his last Cup Series win. And it's not like Kyle hasn't had the chances. They just haven't been able to close it out lately. Granted, wins the championship last year, and he had to be consistent all year really to do that, especially through the playoffs. But we haven't seen the 5 in victory lane in a year now.
He just had that golden horseshoe up his ass for the championship. That's all.
He did, because I mean, realistically, that should have been Denny's title. But if you look through the totality of the whole season, it was Kyle. Like Larson was good all year long.
That's one thing I do give them. They're consistent. Like, they have bad weeks like everybody else, but for the most part, they're consistent with their finishes, consistent with their starting. I mean, most of the time they're in a good position to start the race.
He starts in the top 5 a ton. Again, starts 4th today. Like he's there. He's towards the front. I thought outside of Alex Bowman, Hendrick really showed up yesterday in qualifying. Everybody but Bowman starting within the top 15. That's probably the best starting spot as a company they've had all year. So maybe some changes there. I don't know what's going on the Bowman side. It's just, I mean, he is. We talk about driver team combos that just aren't working. I think that one's run its course. I know that like all the Bowman fans on social media will get mad at that, but I think they need a new driver in that car. Someone young, someone that's being developed through Hendrick, like I think needs to go there. I don't think you're going to see a Hocevar switch to the 48. I don't think you're going to see Kyle Busch return to Hendrick Motorsports and drive the 48. I think it comes from one of the lower series.
In anything, if anything, where I see Kyle Busch at Spire.
That's where I would see him too. Truth be told, I think McDowell's probably done after this season, at least with Spire. I don't know how long that deal was that he signed, so I could be completely talking out of my ass. But just in my opinions, like I see McDowell leaving or Suarez leaving, although Suarez has been running pretty well this season. I think Jayski would have the contract length.
I'm on there right now. Let me see. It would be in the
I think it's the team chart, isn't it?
Yeah. Like Suarez, it doesn't say, just says he'll be in the car this year at Spire.
The 71 looks like that deal ends after this year.
Kyle is only signed through this year. And Hocevar signed for till he wants to leave, I guess.
Life. Another thing to look at, it appears something to look at. Zilich's deal with Trackhouse is up in 2027 after the 2027 season. As of right now, as far as we know. Do you put a guy like Bowman back in the car for next year with the plans of snagging Zilich away from Trackhouse?
Honestly, you know what? I think it's based off of how the rest of the season goes.
Well, I think Zilich is a lot better of a driver than what his results are showing.
I don't mean with him. I mean with Bowman.
Oh, for sure.
With Bowman.
I know that there's a lot of talk of Zilich isn't the driver we thought he was. He was dominant last year. He can't figure out. I don't think it's a Zilich problem in the Cup side. I think Trackhouse as a whole, outside of road courses, is just brutal, abysmal.
I saw a video this morning about SVG thinking he's doing great on ovals.
He was the best qualifying Trackhouse car yesterday. I'll give him that.
That's not saying much, dude. That's like saying Carl Long qualified for the Daytona 500 a couple times.
But I mean, you got Zilich in 36 out of 37. You got Chastain 31st out of 37. And then you got SVG 17th of 37. You're qualifying in that bottom half of the field every week in a car that track position is key.
Now let me ask you a couple things here. Because I feel that there's a few names in the coming up of the ranks that could possibly be in the name for some rides as well. That, I mean, we can't look over. I think Jesse Love absolutely could probably move up at some point.
I know there was rumors of Jesse Love in Legacy a lot, and I think there was also at one point a rumor of him in Penske. I heard last year
Penske as well.
I could see that if Kyle leaves the 8 and goes to another team, RCR would bring Jesse Love up to run the 8. And I think Jesse in his spot starts for RCR hasn't been bad. I mean, naturally, you got to think of the team that he's running for.
I think you've got to keep him and Downforce Danny together, though.
Downforce Danny. Old Cletus blew a motor yesterday, everybody. I'm sure it was his fault somehow.
Hell of a save, though. Hell of a save.
Did you hear what Squirrel said afterwards?
Uh-uh.
He probably just revved the piss out of it and blew the motor. But, you know, Jesse Love, like you said, I watched him yesterday. And as tight as he was racing his teammate, just the car control that he had, like that's something that you just don't teach. That's just something that you know. Austin Hill getting loose underneath him. He didn't do nothing wrong. Jesse didn't do nothing wrong.
He did absolutely what he should have been doing racing.
He held his line. You know, he was close, but never touched. Like, I think Jesse Love is a really good driver.
Absolutely. I wasn't a fan at first. I didn't know why, but started, paying more attention to him. And honestly,
really tired of Corey Day wrecking JRM guys, but
Corey Day wrecks everybody.
I don't know. Kansas, if it's anything like it's been in the past, today's race is going to be really good. Everyone's going to really enjoy this race, I think. Shifting over to the O'Reilly series yesterday, Phil, because we just touched on it a little bit.
Do a barrel roll. I tune in to the race like 3 laps late for the start, and all I see is the helicopter camera zoomed in on Carson Kvapil upside down on the backstretch, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? We were watching WrestleMania, me and the boys, and Brennan and I were sitting on the couch, and he was playing on his phone. He's like, oh shit, Carson Kvapil flipped. And I was like, nah. So I pulled it up on my phone, and they showed the replay. I was like, oh damn, he that wasn't even a soft flip, dude. That was
Dude, I thought the craziest thing was that, like, what ended up flipping to him was when he hit
Retzlaff.
But the way that the air just picked the car up and then flung it kind of to the inside of the track, like, because he was up against the wall and it just threw him down towards the inside wall. I was like, holy shit.
And
someone needs to teach Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman what a barrel roll is, because that car never barrel rolled.
You want to see a barrel roll? I'll show you a barrel roll.
How you doing, Josh? What's going on, man? Just the profile picture.
I just looked at it. That's great.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah,
I thought it was a decent race, though. I mean, from what I saw, I flipped it on and off on my phone, watched laps here and there, watched a little bit of the stages. I think I turned it on at the end for the last 25 laps or something.
If you had to guess, how many drivers finished on the lead lap yesterday?
I mean, I know, so I can't guess.
Oh, 10 cars finished on the lead lap yesterday. And shout out Sheldon Creed, who started dog last and came up to finish second. I guess what
let me ask you about that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you about that. As a driver with equipment and other stuff that fails on shit happens, How do you get sent to the rear for having to change a fucking helmet?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like that,
and when they had no track time at all to begin with because everything was rained out.
That shouldn't be something you were penalized for. If granted, like everything has to be inspected before you even think about racing with it in NASCAR, no matter what. So you know it was pre-inspected, it was approved of. How was that considered an unapproved adjustment?
I don't know. How about Mason Maggio blowing another motor?
Yeah, well, he probably revved the piss out of it.
He probably revved the piss out of it. Luke Baldwin only made it 4 laps due to a suspension.
He's probably getting tired of them motherfuckers. But he was in that wreck with Kvapil. Is actually what happened. He hit with the right side.
Did you see that we had like 3 or 4 HendrickCars.com cars in the field yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Jesus, JD Stacy all over again.
Look like Beer Money Motorsports out there, dude. Beer Money Racing. Run by Dr. Patrick Starpoli. Coming home 14th. 1 lap down. Josh Williams, 17th, 1 lap down.
We you and I didn't do picks for O'Reilly, I don't think. Last week. No, we didn't. We
just repeat the ones from the week before then.
I was just gonna go off of what our picks were for the fantasy, but so I would have had Corey Day, who finished 12th, so that top 10 streak that no one cares about's over. And you would have had
Brent Cruz.
Sammy Smith.
On which one?
If we go off the picks from last week, because you had Sammy Smith on Bristol.
I thought you meant like fantasy fucking like our picks for fantasy in our group chat. Fantasy.
I was going to go with that one, but then you're like, just go from the week before.
I mean, we can use that one because I win if we do that, because then I had Brent Cruz.
Well, you had Sammy Smith, who finished what?
16th.
16th. So I still win either way.
Well, if we want, why? Who'd you have in the other one?
Creed.
Oh, okay. Fuck it. You win. By the same amount of no, Brent Cruz was 5th. I was gonna say by the same amount of damn positions too.
Yeah, because Sammy Smith finished 16th, Corey Day 12th, Creed 2nd, Cruz 5th.
Yeah.
You were close, Phil. You were close.
For once, I had a decent pick, and you fucked me.
So who are you gonna pick for Kansas today?
I'm not prepared for this. I don't even have my
I'm prepared for mine, but I can adjust if need be.
I don't have let me actually go into NASCAR and set my fantasy while I'm doing it, because I haven't done that either. I'm unprepared today, sorry.
You're good.
Give me for today. Give me one Bubba Wallace.
Okay. I'm going to go with someone I haven't picked all year. I'm going to go Tyler Reddick.
It's a good pick.
There's like 2 weeks in a row I've gone with the guy who started on the pole. I finished 2nd last week. And then trucks. Actually, you know what? We can save our truck and O'Reilly picks. Little scheduling update for this week. We will be live Thursday night this week. I'm going on vacation next weekend, so I won't be around.
Hell, you're going to go live.
Fuck you. We're going to go Thursday night, time to be determined. It'll probably be, I'm going to push for like 7:30. But we'll see. It all depends on how the day goes. And Phil's day. Your sister wants you to get it together, dude.
I'm here.
What are your fantasy picks, Phil?
Give me a one Tyler Reddick.
Solid.
Chase Briscoe.
Solid.
Chase Elliott.
Decent.
Chris Buescher.
Okay.
Tyrone Gibbs.
Okay.
And I got a one Carson Hocevar in the old garage.
Okay.
And I went Gibbs over Wallace, Reddick over Larson, Elliott over Chastain, and Blaney over Byron.
I went Reddick, Hocevar, Briscoe, Hamlin, Larson with Bubba in my garage. And I went, the only thing I was different on is I picked Bubba over Gibbs today.
Did you see these average points next to the driver, and friggin' Reddick's at 48 and everybody else is like in the low 30s?
It's a shame you
20s.
can only start that guy 10 times in the season, dude.
Dude, I found this unbelievable. I've not had Chase Briscoe in once this year.
I've only had him in once, actually. This is every time I start him, he does something dumb, so I end up having to move him.
You must know that guy Phil Hillis, dude.
All right, let's do a little cleanup stuff here, Phil. NASCAR historian, episode 67 means car number 67 history. I'll take the reins this week. You can give me your non-driving fucks on this one.
There's not a lot.
Car number 67 has started 642 races, has 0 wins, 1 pole, 23 top 5s, 114 top 10s, and 214 DNFs in the NASCAR Cup Series. Buddy Arrington drove the 67 for most of his career. He started in the number 481 of his 560 starts from 1963 to 1988. Arrington is a legendary figure in the realm of NASCAR and Mopar history. Arrington began professional NASCAR race in December of 63 behind the wheel of his Dodge hardtop, and for the next 25 years, he never missed a season. Finally retiring from the sport in 88, what makes Arrington unique in the history of the sport was his absolute dedication and loyalty to Chrysler and his positive attitude in spite of what often seemed like insurmountable odds. Being the team owner and driver, Arrington drove Dodges from 1964 all the way through the mid-season 1985. In 1984 and 85, his Chrysler Imperial became the last Chrysler product in NASCAR until Dodge re-entered the sport in 1999 with Ram in the Truck Series. As prolific a racer as Buddy Arrington was, and as popular as he still remains among fans, he never won a single NASCAR race. In his 560 career starts, he mustered 15 top 5 finishes, and his highest points finish was 7th, achieved in 1982. Still, Buddy Arrington never abandoned the Mopar banner until Mopar completely abandoned him, pulling all part sponsorship in 1985.
I remember that red and blue car they show there. That's a really iconic thing. I think a few people have done a throwback to that, but I'm not 100% sure.
That sounds like a guy that Mike Joy would have a field day about, just randomly. David Pearson started the 67 car in 31 races between 1960 and 1961. Pearson made his first career start at Daytona in 1960 and would drive the 67 on his entire campaign to become the 1960 Rookie of the Year for the Grand National Series. Elton, what? Here we go with the nicknames, Phil. Elton Wildman Hildreth.
Wildman! Woo!
Was a legendary modified and late model racer out of South Jersey. 29 of his 51 Grand National starts came in the 67 from 1952 to 1953. After his brief entry into NASCAR, Hildreth returned into modified racing in his signature 16J.
Wow, man.
From 1970 to 1971, Dick May started the 67 car in 29
No, he didn't May start it, dude. He started.
He started
Dick started it.
Dick did start it. In 2023, 2311 racing fielded the 67 as an extra entry in 2 races. Travis Pastrana drove the car to an 11th place finish in the Daytona 500, his only NASCAR Cup Series start. And Kamui Kobayashi piloted the car to a 33rd place finish at the Indianapolis Road Course.
That was the hot dog guy, dude.
Other notable names in the 67: Brad Teague, 5 starts; Elmo Langley, 4 starts; Seth Rollins' brother Shorty started 2 times.
Burn it down.
Jimmy Pardue, 2 starts; Boris said 2 starts; Speedy Thompson, 1 start; Buck Baker, Ken Schrader, Morgan Shepherd, Joe Milliken, Johnny Allen, Dale Jarrett, Ken Bouchard, EJ Trevette, all 1
local
start.
legend EJ Trevette from Cape Coral,
Florida. That
name
sounded really familiar, actually.
Awesome guy. I've been to his shop. Nice guy. got some stories, let me tell you.
No dicks next week, by the way.
No dicks next week. Let me be the judge of that. Hold on.
Actually, one of the names, literally, you cannot. It's not possible.
Janet Guthrie was a dick.
We're terrible people.
Oh, dude, old Hut Strickland's on there? Son of a bitch.
You ready for the fun fact I had?
That whole list, before we get into that, the whole list that we went through of names on that, just some of them baffled me. Really, like had no clue.
Long story short, I was scrolling TikTok and found our area get discussed on a video. And there were some notable names in there. One of them being Chuck Taylor was associated with the area, the designer of the sneakers, the Chuck Taylor Converse sneakers. So I had this thought to go to Wikipedia, search up our town name, and look at the notable people. And one name stood out. It was Walter Minks, who tried to blow up a Sears store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I clicked on his name because I'm like, oh, I wonder what that story was. And I found the following. And this is related to the show, and you'll see why here in about 10 minutes. Walter Paul Minks, February 7th to 1917 to June 30th, 2009, was a young German immigrant who in 1940 conspired with his brother Kurt to extort $100,000 from a Sears executive by threatening to blow up a Sears store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Minks planned to abscond with the money in a home-built submarine, but quick police work eventually led to his arrest and imprisonment. Here is the plan. Minks's family immigrated from Germany to Milwaukee in 1925. He was nicknamed Dermacher, the Doer, because of his ability to build almost anything. In his early 20s, Walter opened an ornamental ironwork shop, and the business was soon thriving. But despite the amount of work coming in, Walter was in serious debt. He'd borrowed money from relatives and was uncertain of his ability to pay it back. I was petrified, quote. I was terrified, so he decided on a quick money-making scheme. He would extort money from a rich man using a bomb threat. Minks first set about building a bomb using a 1-inch metal pipe, gunpowder collected from 35 12-gauge shotgun shells, a wind-up clock, and a spring mechanism. Minks related that it took a long time to get the trigger just right, but he had an even more ambitious project going on the side, a one-man submarine. Minks needed a foolproof method of retrieving the extortion money without getting caught in a submarine. With its ability to submerge and creep away undetected from a watery drop-off point, seemed ideal. One newspaper account said he got the notion from reading a story in Detective Magazine, but Minks later claimed it was entirely his own idea. Using sheet metal, tin cans, and plumbing fixtures, he set about constructing his sub. The first prototype proved inadequate to the task, was later found by the police resting in a patch of weeds behind his parents' home. Minks began working on a second model. The resulting craft was 7 feet long, powered by automobile batteries connected to a small electric starter motor. It weighed about 400 pounds. Movable fins on the exterior hull enabled the sub to dive, while 2-gallon tin cans inside could be filled with lake water using a valve made from a kitchen sink faucet. The cans acted as ballast tanks and helped maintain neutral buoyancy once the vessels dipped below the waves. A small pressurized oxygen tank allowed the sub to stay submerged for up to 48 hours. The sub's operator navigated via conning tower featuring clear windows on 3 sides. Hand-operated levers were used to raise and lower the diving fins and steer the rudder, while a radiator petcock could be opened to regulate interior air pressure when necessary. The sub's entry hatch could be bolted closed and opened from the inside. Once completed, Minks' brother Kurt then tested the sub several times in the shallow waters of Whitefish Bay. It seemed to work satisfactorily. The man targeted for the extortion plot was Roland H. Davey, whose picture Minks had once seen in a newspaper. Davey managed the Sears store in Milwaukee, and Minks figured that. A fellow like that would get a big salary. Minx's plan was for Davey to hire a small plane from Curtiss-Wright Airport, now known as Lawrence J. Timmerman Airport, at 7:30 p.m. on July 26th, flying a designated straight line and drop a money bundle containing $100,000 over Lake Michigan upon sighting 2 blinking lights coming from Minx's sub. The plane was to continue flying another 50 miles before turning back, giving Minx time to maneuver his submarine over to the bundle and retrieve the money. He would then submerge for several hours before deliberately scuttling the craft off McKinley Beach and swimming to the shore where his car was parked nearby. We're getting to the end of this. Just bear with me. Change in course. Minx wrote out a crudely printed note informing Davey that a small bomb would be detonated at a local Sears store and a larger one would follow if Davey didn't deliver the $100,000 as directed. On July 23rd, 1940, Minx placed the note on the porch of Davey's house. Unbeknownst to Minx, however, Davey no longer lived there. It was now occupied by Circuit Judge William Shaughnessy, who promptly contacted the police the following day. Minx planted a small bomb in a storeroom at the Sears store on North Ave, timing it to go off when few people would be inside. At 6:18 p.m., the bomb exploded, holing a plywood partition and damaging a few lawnmowers. But the plot was developing a few kinks. Walter and Kurt were having trouble with the sub. In the calm shallows of Whitefish Bay, it had performed flawlessly. But when they tried taking it out into deeper waters, they couldn't fully submerge because the waves were too rough. Walter decided an alternate drop-off scheme was needed, so he spent several days devising a new arrangement to be executed via motorcycle. He also drafted new letters delivered to Davey explaining the change of plans. Mind you, they're sending this to the wrong house. In the meantime, police were able to determine the metal fragments from the Sears store bomb blasts were of a type used in ornamental ironwork. A Sears store employee then remembered that some cashier's cages had been built by one Walter Minx. The police paid a visit to Walter's shop and found scrap metal matching the bomb fragments. Arrested at his home, Minx immediately confessed the extortion plot, but despite his insistence that his brother Kurt had backed out of the scheme earlier on, he too was arrested and tried. Both men were convicted and sentenced to prison. A arrest report was turned down by then Governor Julius Heel. In the aftermath, and this is where we all tie this in, Minx was released from prison in 1946. He moved from Milwaukee to Saukville, Wisconsin, married, opened a hardware store, Minx Hardware, and later became a master plumber. He also obtained a pilot's license and built a 36-foot cabin cruiser in his backyard. Yet he was never quite able to shake his past notoriety. Later in his life, he told a reporter, "I'm a bitter for 50 years old. I paid my debt." I'm sorry, I misquoted this whole thing. I am bitter for 50 years old. I did it again. I am bitter for 50 years. I paid my debt to society. I was guilty. There was no question about it. But there shouldn't even been a trial. I confessed. All my work is for naught. I'm still an ex-con. It still brings emotion. In 1949, Minx attempted a venture into the NASCAR Strictly Stock Series, now the NASCAR Cup Series, making his first and only career start at Langhorne Speedway, where he would finish 43rd after being involved in an accident on lap 25. In 1983, Minx and his wife Eleanor moved to Port Charlotte, Florida. He died at Winkler Court, Fort Myers, Florida on June 30th, 2009. He was 92 years old. What a tie-in there.
So to give you a little idea, I was doing a little research while you're reading that. With inflation, 1940, $100,000 is $2,358,000 today.
No kidding. No kidding. I'm trying to look up Walter Minx, like what the race car would have been photographed as, but I don't see nothing. Damn, dude, I missed those. See, hang on, I'm gonna pull something up here. I miss how the old time race cars used to put the crew on the fender.
Yeah. So in the same thing, I went, so you can click on the town. So I went there, and notable people from Port Charlotte, Florida, a lot of sports players. Josh Williams, NASCAR drivers on here. The one that got me, though, Nathan Handworker, founder of Nathan's Famous Hot Dogs, died in Port Charlotte, Florida.
I love me a Nathan's dog.
I'm allergic to him.
You still ate him at the party.
I did. I did.
So that is your fun fact with me for the day, Walter Minks. What are we going to do for Big Junk for Bristol, Phil?
I think you got to give it to Bowman.
Gonna give Big Junk to Alex Big Time Bowman. You know, this is... no, I guess you can't say that. This is the longest we've gone without doing a two-person Big Junk. What I mean is we haven't had a repeat one unless you count Daniel Suarez and Ross Chastain at Las Vegas. That was kind of like a two-man deal. It wasn't really more on one driver than the other. The other time we gave it to Suarez was in the duels, and that wasn't even a points-paying race, so...
He's the Ty Gibbs of this year, it sounds like.
Yeah, Ty Gibbs was on here a lot last year. I got nothing else, Phil. You want to do a sporkle and cap the show off?
Let's do a GeoGuessr instead, bud.
GeoGuessr?
Yeah, we have fun with GeoGuessr. Let's do a GeoGuessr.
We're going to have people wonder how dumb we are? Because I'm not doing a NASCAR theme one this time. We're going to do famous places, dude.
Oh, we're going to suck at this.
Pay no mind to my avatar.
Looks like Indianapolis Jones. We are on a bridge in the woods in Tennessee.
I think we're in Tennessee. Watch us not be in Tennessee. What happens if I go this way? Moving very slowly here.
Moving at the speed of smell, dude.
Trying to move so we get past.
Wasn't it hold space bar and hit that? It goes. Oh, okay.
Capilano Trading Post.
They got fudge there.
Fudge, fresh packed fudge.
Sir, where are we?
Do you know where we are? The Capilano Suspension Bridge, but I don't know where that is. And that just takes me back to here. I feel like we're definitely in the U.S. Oh my God, look at these bathroom signs. Oh, I thought that was the cross arms on the sign. I was going to laugh. Oh, dude, this is definitely like the States. Granville Island Brewing.
It is not.
It's not in the States?
Negative. It is in North America, but it is not in the States.
So it's Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where in Canada are we, Phil?
BC.
British Columbia's over here. I don't know. I feel like we're probably somewhere in here. We were not. We were literally in Vancouver.
Son of a bitch. That's Barry, dude.
How's Barry doing?
This looks very Savannah, Georgia-ish to me. Only parked there for a little time, though, dude. Can't go.
That doesn't help. We in Pennsylvania, dude? We in Philadelphia?
Barry's in Pennsylvania, dude? Oh, no.
Wait a minute. I wonder. Oh. I don't know where I am now.
Looking at Barry's ass instead of his Ford.
I'm just curious of something. I don't know why it does that. I wonder if we were in, like, historical, like, Billy.
Elizabeth something. I don't know what the hell that said.
Hey, hi, ma'am. How you doing?
Hey, Megan. Coffee.
How you making? But we also might not be in America, so you never know.
Philadelphia History Museum, though.
Where's Barry?
Right by the Penn. What was that? The Colonial Penn Life Insurance or whatever it was?
Yeah, something like that.
Look left.
Because, like, maybe. I think we were. I felt like we were, like, here. But I don't see a library over here.
Sankey Peking Duck up there, dude. You see it?
What? Sankey
Mr.
Peking Duck.
Mr. Pig Korean Barbecue. Son of a bitch.
I don't know. I think we're just kind of in Philadelphia somewhere. We'll just go there.
It was a good guess.
Yeah. Okay. So we were where I kind of thought we were. That was
John.
Comic John Barry.
It's John Barry, dude. His name's not Barry. I mean, his name is Barry.
This is where you just find out how just dumb we are for locations. What was that? I don't even know what that means.
The Desulu, dude.
Let's see. What's this little statue here? Oh, no. Can't go look at the statue of the man on the horse. That's a woman on a horse. I don't know if it feels like Russia. You won't know a fun fact. Here's a fun fact. Speaking of Russia. We were in school, middle school. We used to have to read our history stuff aloud, right? And this girl that she's reading called Russia, Rasaya. And she was known for the rest of our time in this school as Rasaya.
Crown Plaza over there in front of you to the left.
I mean, that might just be a hotel, dude.
What is that? What is that flag to the right there? Italy?
That is not Italy. Italy, the stripes go vertical.
There's another country flag next to it too, so that doesn't really.
It doesn't help much. I can 100% say we are not America. Not America. There's a castle here. Sweden?
Yeah, maybe.
Sweden? Maybe? I don't know. Oh, what was that? That's a museum? Nope. Hotel Dodge. This is tough. That is not Sweden, I don't think. I don't think that's a flag for Sweden. Could be Netherlands, maybe? Arcade. Dude, we're in Florida.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know where we are. We're somewhere where there's a castle. That's all I can tell you. Ian says your mom says Virginia. So that might have been on the last one.
We're in Garage, dude, where the Totron Center is, dude. You see that? Son of a bitch. On that sign, dude. We're in garage where the Tatra Centrum is.
I think Joe Gibbs Racing is there.
That kind of looks like DEI in front of us up there.
Oh, shit.
Whoa. When did we get in the tunnel?
Where are we at? Why can't I go down the road? What is happening?
Speed limit's 50. Whoa, why? It looks like we're going head on into that guy, but we're looking out the back of the car, I'm assuming.
I have no...
KFC Nuggets, dude.
Colonel's here.
Veterinaria over there, too.
This is where having chat helps.
SK.SK. What was that? Go back. Right there.
Saskatchewan. It might be.
I don't know. You know the problem? Can't read it. Bratislava.
I don't know where we are.
Bratislava. I just told you.
Where's that?
Wherever this is, dude. It says Chupacabra 4 81109 Bratislava.
Budapest up here. I don't know, dude.
Just give me a guess somewhere in that area.
Like...
See, Budapest is right there in Hungary. Zoom in.
Oh. Sure.
We're in Bratislava.
Idiot.
Should have listened to me, you idiot. Eiffel Tower.
I just remember what you said another night we were playing this. A very similar area came up. And where you told me where the location was because of said thing, and you were actually spot on.
Was it one that I Googled?
No.
What was it?
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, okay.
We're in India. Just don't know where.
No, wait, go back. Hold on, go back. Go back to that sign. Look at that sign again. Go up and to the right, dude. It'll be in English. Go right.
Well, that's an audio guide, Phil. I don't have an audio guide here. I think we can fully say we're in India. I just don't know.
Zoom in. We'll guess a place. See how close we are.
New Delhi?
Yeah, sure.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't a bad guess. So we're at the
Taj Mahal, dude.
I don't even know what the Taj Mahal looks like.
Looks like DEI. I'm assuming we're in Germany. But that is also maybe Spanish speaking. Años is years in Spanish.
Okay, I think Spain might be not a bad guess here. Let's see. Can we go inside? Hello. Ah, yes, we can go inside.
Dude, look at that car on the boat. Son of a bitch. Oh, yeah. Benvenuto.
Okay. Do make sure we're wearing our masks here. What's in here? More boats? We in Portugal?
Yeah. I'm assuming so. It's a good guess.
very Portugal. Yeah, we got to be in Portugal. And I would imagine we'd be in Lisbon.
Connecticut?
No. Where in Lisbon? Maybe here? No, we're over here. That wasn't bad.
Not terrible.
We at least got the right countries.
700 miles? That's pretty good for us.
Oh, I didn't want to hit play again.
Look at that alligator and the guy on the unicycle up there, dude.
Does he ever come down, you think?
Probably not.
Let's do a NASCAR one before we get on out of here.
Make it quick.
All right, this one has 36 locations. And it says it's easy. No street courses. It's Phoenix, isn't it?
Yeah.
Phoenix Raceway is like out here, I think. If I remember correctly. Like it's on the outskirts. No, it's right there. And we would be like here. Look at that, dude. 477 yards.
We are not French. We are American.
I think we're in Lime Rock, dude.
Probably a guess. Probably a good guess.
Where actually is Lime Rock?
Lime Rock is in Connecticut. I believe it is in the lower portion of Connecticut. Go up some. Keep going. Okay, go right or more, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Maybe if I zoom out a little bit, it'll pop up the name. Negative. It's probably just the name of the track, and it's not actually a city called Lime Rock.
Lakeville.
Okay, so where's Lakeville? I'm assuming by a lake.
Lakeside.
Where's Lakeville? You seen a Lakeville pop up?
Look for top left. Go up to the top left. Stop right there. Zoom out a little bit. Hold on. Go. Do you see 44?
Yeah.
Zoom in there. Top left, right where it says Salisbury. Keep going. Keep going.
Ah, Lime Rock Park. Here we go.
There you go.
I don't know. I'll just assume we're like.
Well, we're on the racetrack somewhere, but.
I mean, this would be the racetrack now, right?
We are just to the top of the racetrack.
Right about here?
We are right before the bridge. No, just below where you have marked right now. Mm-hmm.
Look at that, 5K, 26 yards. That I don't know. Is that Wilkesboro? No, New Hampshire. New Hampshire.
I should have known that.
In Concord, isn't it?
It is in Loudon.
Oh, it's in Loudon.
Which is right next to Concord.
Oh, yeah.
Go. There you go. Just trying to figure out where the hell we were.
We're at...
You're right at the museum. Turn right more. Turn right.
Oh, wait.
I believe that is the racing museum right there, but I'm not sure.
Right here?
That's a fucking house. The building left her.
I mean, this is the main credentials building. Do we have a main credentials building on here?
Probably right there. I think we're up the road a little bit. Keep going that way you're going. Keep dragging that way. No, the other way.
Here's the racing museum.
Keep going a little bit. I believe you're right there by that entrance somewhere.
Well, let's see. Because, we got to get the lowest we can here, you know what I mean? What road is this? I thought it came up like a little street sign. So this is the main entrance. So, we're right on the main entrance. Let's see, what street is this? Ashby? So we're over by Ashby. Dude, maybe the one that says Main Speedway Gate?
Probably that one right there.
Yeah, I think we're about here. Yeah, we're a little bit further back. Oh shit, we got cars coming at us.
This would be it's out in California. The one with the corkscrew. Laguna Seca.
I don't even know where the fuck that is.
Laguna Seca, California.
California, big state, Phil. I never watched a race from there.
It's down, dude. That's one of the most badass freaking.
Dude, is that an old speed billboard?
Where? Yes, it is.
Long live speed. Where's Laguna Seca, Phil?
California. I'm looking. Hold on. My internet would load, it'd be great. Laguna Seca WeatherTech Raceway, California. It is just below Santa Cruz, which is above. Go San Fran. Zoom in. Right where it says Santa Clara. Zoom in right there.
I found Santa Cruz.
Okay. So you are going to go on the other side of that thing, right about where it says Salinas. Keep going. It's in that little area right there. Go down a little bit. A little more. Down a little more. There it is.
You know where we were at in Laguna Seca?
We were. Where the hell's the racetrack at, dude?
Are we in the Andretti hairpin?
No, we are in the corkscrew.
Oh, we are in corkscrew. Where is...
Up a little bit, I think. No. I'm trying to figure out. Hold on. There's the paddock. Go down. Andretti hairpin, turn 3. Go down. Turn 6. Right up top. Go up a little bit to the right. Go up a little bit and to the right. Right there on the right where it says turn 6, the last one. Right before Rainery Curve. See where it says Sea Otter Classic?
Yeah.
Just to the right of that. That's the corkscrew.
So we're like right here.
Yep.
Oh, if I would have zoomed in further, it would have said the corkscrew.
Oh, idiot, dude.
Oh, I think we're in Pocono.
We are in Pocono.
This is the one that always fucks with us, though, Phil. We're in the Xfinity garage.
We are right behind Victory Lane.
This Xfinity or Cup garage?
That I believe would be Cup.
So now we got to find where the fuck Pocono is.
Zoom in just above Allentown, I believe, and we'll find it somewhere in that area.
Mount Pocono.
Mount Pocono. Yep, that's where you want to be. Zoom in there. Long Pond.
Pocono Raceway.
And you are... Yep, pretty close to there.
We're probably more further down, like right here. Dude.
Not even close to
853 yards?
Not bad.
It's a good one to end on.
It is a good one to end on.
All right, boys, girls, children of all ages.
We will see everybody Thursday. We'll keep you updated as to what time. And
yeah, we'll be live Thursday.
Enjoy the show today.
Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, turn on your notifications. This way you get notified every time we go live. And we will see you on Thursday. Victor, take it away.